Welcome to Xbox Corner, my name is Alex. Today we're taking a look at Blacktail on the Xbox Series X. This one a new first-person adventure experience playing into a fantasy world, but is it worth your time? And how are my initial impressions? Well, that's what I'm here to find out, so hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals daily, and let's get started. If you are thinking about grabbing this, then consider using cornershop.gg for discounted Xbox Store credit. You'll get 10% off at checkout using code CORNER, and that's going to be instant delivery via email. Story then, and this one's based around Slavic folklore. Playing as Yaga, a 16-year-old girl, we open the game searching for our missing sister. We are clearly, however, haunted by past memories, something we excuse as simply nightmares. Quickly, however, we meet a witch. It seems they go by Baba, and they join us on this adventure as almost a voice inside our head. Now we get to create the myth of Baba Yaga and live through the origin story. Will we be the guardian of these woods, or the terror nightmares are made of? Right now, the story, it's been decent, honestly. I'm enjoying learning about this world, and the dialogue between our lead and the witch, who it seems has in a minimal way at least, possessed us, feels unique. The local population as well, from talking mushrooms to massive wasps, each has their own intentions with our character, some good, others bad, and having that choice, it feels like it immediately puts the outcome of the experience on our decisions. Gameplay then, and again I'm a few hours into this one. I very much want to talk to performance and initial impressions. At this point in the story, however, I've hunted food, explored a decent chunk of this initial map, and faced off against a couple of boss encounters, that being a killer mushroom of sorts and a dragon. It's quite a challenging game in these moments as well if you're not well equipped, but it's worth knowing it offers two difficulty options. That's normal, where I played, as well as story, otherwise known as easy. So opening the game, it's quick to introduce you to the core combat mechanic, and that is the bow and arrow. It seems weapons here won't necessarily be different, but rather we will leverage different ammo types, as I've already encountered normal arrows as well as honey-covered and needed story mechanic. The controls this far, they've been okay, but I will add here, it is best to jump into the options and adjust the sensitivity. Initially, it felt clunky, but I was able to get somewhat comfortable here with some tweaking. The core experience then, it's first person, and jumping in I actually expected quite a deep action RPG, but I would describe it more as a light element of RPG, down to the fact this far at least it's been somewhat basic. We do need to gather resources along this journey, things like crafting arrows or antidotes, but it's been far from complex, rather sticks and feathers for arrows or flowers and sticks for antidotes. The latter, that's basically because many creatures in this world, they want to poison you. The core RPG element of this far though, it's been in the form of a skill tree. It's going to allow you to impact a number of areas from your character to your arrow types and items. This takes place at a cauldron located deep within the forest in a hut that appears pretty early on in the game, though it does appear to be invisible. I was dreading the trek back and forth here each time I needed something, but thankfully I quickly uncovered that interacting with a black cat will take you back here before returning you to your last location. As I mentioned in story as well, the game packs a morality system, good and evil, and each decision you make will impact where you fall on that spectrum. Additionally, it seems the tasks we face often have a different outcome, whether that's the way you approach them or a decision you make. For example, I met a queen ant who wants to kill all humans. She requested I lead her to the local village. I swiftly refused, and that gave me a shift towards the good. The world this far, I've crossed paths with more than a few creatures that offer a decision like that to be made. I will add here though, that one was relatively simple. Not all are as clear as this one. Already, I've been outsmarted and done evil that I was unaware of. I like this idea a lot. It's not always going to be black and white, and it definitely makes you question your decisions. Items then, and first up, recovering health. It's not auto regen here. Instead, you can find food to eat, you can hunt local wildlife, and you can cook that at bonfires. With progression, you can even brew up potions. Enemies will drop health on occasion as well, which is always a good result, as it definitely helped me out of a few trying scenarios. The remainder of item drops this far, they've been resources for crafting at the cauldron or to build needed items on the spot, such as arrows. This crafting on the spot, it's all done via a quick access wheel on screen. Weapon wise then, I've already got access to a couple of witch-like abilities, a push mechanic, think like the Force almost. We have the broom, which brings in and distracts enemies before you fire on it for an explosion. Then we can use magic to influence our bow attacks. Tapping the right stick actually turns a single arrow into multiple magic ones. This is particularly useful for larger, more powerful enemies or even groups. I've even started to collect now creatures called baboks, which look like owls but can add necessary clues and context to this world. So overall, this far I'm enjoying it. The narrative is unique, it's not folklore I personally know, and the world and the creatures inhabiting it are unique. When I first saw the talking mushroom and ants, I didn't know if it was going to be a little underwhelming with its darker edge, but honestly, I'm for sure seeing the creepy in it. My only real complaints this far, the world may be an open map, but it's often constructed of caverns and thin pathways, almost at points making it feel a little linear. Then the UI in general, it looks a little cheap, but there's something about the design that doesn't feel up to scratch with the rest of the package. Finally, enemies, when up close, they seem to do damage from quite a distance, which tells me the hitboxes in here for our lead, they may be a little on the large side. We do have a dash mechanic as well to get away, but honestly it's done me little favours. That all said though, complaints wise, I'll absolutely be continuing. This world seems to have a lot of darkness to uncover the creatures, they keep on surprising me, and even if the combat it feels a tiny bit sluggish still, I want to learn more. There's a particular scene in the opening where you have the mask off that you do wear, and this world seems maybe a lot creepier than when you do have it on, which has been the majority of my time, so I really want to know now, what is that all about? Performance wise then, generally it's been solid on the Series X. I have noticed the occasional stutter as we do traverse the landscape. Clearly I think this is just loading in the next part of the map. Additionally, the game has wisely used a fog-like design to mask much of what is in the distance. Now I know at this point you may say it's Series X, exclusive at this point as well and not backwards compatible, so it shouldn't need that, but do remember, this is a small indie team and they've mostly succeeded. Additionally, for a smaller team as well, the effort is clear. We get both a quality and performance mode. Quality is going to be 30 frames per second, 4K. Performance, that's 60 frames per second, still a 4K but dynamic scaling. On the Series S, no options unfortunately. There you will see 60 frames per second and 1440p. Graphically then, it's not winning any awards honestly, but it's not a bad looking game at all. I'd throw it almost into the realm of Elder Scrolls, though on a smaller scale. The locations look decent enough and it seems to have some scale, but look close enough, and its clear textures are quite low in terms of quality. They have done a good job though of filling the landscape, so it's not all that easy to spot. Additionally, although animations are basic with enemies, there's definitely been a decent selection in that enemy design this far. Some models though on that note are definitely stronger than others, and again then the UI not great in my opinion. Those complaints out the way though, I will give them this, there's a decent amount of variety in here. So far I've been from lush landscapes to poison to underground caves. That said though, honestly I am left wondering just a little bit, why is this only currently on the Series X and S and not on the Xbox One? No doubt that release it will come further down the line. Audio finally, and I'm really impressed. While the music's been good this far, matching the tonality of the scene and the fairy tale like nature of this world, it's just the voice acting that's won me over. Also the combat sounds are pretty impressive as well. But yeah, I've been so impressed with the English language team here, whether that's been our lead and Baba or the surrounding talking wildlife. It can, granted be a little cheesy at times honestly, but they really do embody the sinister edge that the game is out to deliver. So that is my initial impressions of Blacktail. I'd describe it as somewhat clunky on a controller front, with an intriguing world and fun spin on exploration and a morality system. What's winning me over this far though, it's just the unique cast and world that seems to have this hidden dark tone to it all. It's making me want to come back, which is always gonna be a compliment. With 2 options as well on a Series X regarding performance, it's clear the team is passionate to give the experience you want, which I seriously do respect. There also seems to be 2.5D sections to this game as well, away from the first person for these flashback encounters. Now I'm yet to encounter one, but I'm curious to see if those are playable. My only other concerns really with this one is the bow and arrow going to get a little dull with progression, and will more weapons reveal themselves with my skill improving. That said though, the use of the broom and the gauntlet, the device which projects magic, has definitely refreshed my experimentation with enemies. With that then, look, will you be checking it out? Let me know in the comments down below. Then hit subscribe, join us here for reviews, lists, deals and Game Pass breakdowns weekly, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.